This is the Extreme Bowl Commander Mini, the latest entrance to the class of 16-inch suspension-equipped performance electric unicycle. And in my opinion, it is one of the best designed and built wheel ever released by Extreme Bowl, which is really Begode. And despite its compact size, it has a ridiculous top speed of 50 miles per hour. And this week, I'm going to ride it, review it, try to hit its maximum speed, and tell you if the Commander Mini is the best 16-inch suspension wheel available on the market right now. Roll the intro. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and help spread the uni gospel. First, a quick shout out to my friend Ronan for letting me borrow this Commander Mini for review, and check out my shop themosfet.com for EUC accessory and t-shirt. Show your EUC love. The introduction of suspension revolutionized the electric unicycle feel. Not only did it open up a whole lot of possibility when it comes to off-road trail rides, it also improved traction and safety margin for those times when you encounter unexpected adverse road conditions. But for the longest time, hardcore rider has been asking for a high-performance suspension-equipped 16-inch wheel. Since the main challenge of riding a smaller diameter wheel, reduced cushioning due to the lesser amount of air volume, and reduced gyro stability at higher speed can both be mitigated by the addition of an effective suspension system. Which is exactly how the Veteran Patton, my current favorite electric unicycle, had panned out. So how would the Commander Mini and EUC, that is, shall we say, inspired by the Patton, compares? Which brings us to my review, and as usual, I'm going to rate the Commander Mini based on 5 different criteria, and they are design, convenience, ride qualities, performance, and value on a score of 1 to 5. Starting with design. First of all, I have to say that the Commander Mini is probably one of the best looking and constructed Begode wheel I have ever laid my hand on. And the reason why is that I think Extreme Bowl, which share engineering and production resources with Begode, is finally starting to show some independent thinking and design. You can tell someone spent time and effort on sculpting this wheel and gave it strong lines and a cohesive presence, something Begode usually care very little about. The interchangeable CNC milled handle and guardrail, combined with the angular design of its battery casing, adds to its distinctive profile. I had to swap out the stock Begode pedal because I don't like how they flex a little bit under pressure, and also that the new E-Ride Raw colorway just match the rest of the wheel so very well. Even the stock pads are so well integrated into the design that I feel I'd be sorry to swap them out for aftermarket pads. This is a wheel that compares favorably even to the more expensive Veteran Patton. It feels more refined, better detailed, less square edge and raw, and once again not at all what I expect from a Begode produced wheel. There are still some weaknesses like the comically cheap looking fenders and plasticky and very cheap feeling trolley handles. Both the headlights and the tail light feels a little bit tacked on and does not match the rest of the wheel design, but I am getting a little bit nitpicking here. As the best looking wheel ever came out of Extreme Bowl Begode, the Commander Mini gets a 4 out of 5 for design. Now, Extreme Bowl have rarely taken comfort and convenience into consideration when it comes to the wheel design. Their K6 line of scooter look as comfortable to ride as a medieval torturing device. And the X-Men, which was the only foray they had into electric unicycle prior to the line of Commander wheels, did not even come with a trolley handle. And for the Commander Minis, they have learned sufficiently to know to include one. However, the built-in trolley handle is still short, flimsy, and cheap feeling. It does work and is serviceable, however, barely, I say. These two plastic nubs up front serve as a very basic kickstand, and you park it by shoving its face right into the dirt. It works and it's reasonably stable, but feels a bit wrong and requires just a bit more effort to bring it back upright. It may not seem like a big deal, however, as something that you have to do each time you turn it on and off, it does get a bit tiresome over time. The carrying handle is solid and appears to be designed for easy mounting of aftermarket lights and accessories. And there is a convenient cutoff switch, but they're also a little bit too high up and makes it slightly difficult for you to carry this wheel upstairs or into trunks. There are no speakers, which may be a strike if you like to ride with tunes, and the headlight isn't particularly bright and have a pretty narrow spread and a strange half yellow beam pattern. No idea why, but honestly, I kind of like it. The tail lights never shuts off even during the day, and unlike the Patton, both the headlights and the tail lights are hardwired into the controller, so it's a lot harder for you to swap them. And this is the fender. I don't know why Extreme Bowl insists on this cheap looking design, however it appears to be their thing. It works, not as well as the profile fender on the Patton, and depends on how often you ride in the rain, it may or may not be an issue. Speaking of which, the Commander Mini does not carry any waterproof rating, and despite the fact that it is rather well gasketed both for the controller and the battery compartment, I still wouldn't recommend riding in the wet on a regular basis. The good-looking pads are unfortunately still terrible. They're just a little bit too narrow and too soft to resist aggressive pushing. Like a pair of excellent but poorly fitted running shoes, I can't overemphasize how important it is to have good padding on your wheel. Finally, we have height adjustable pedal hanger. Significant because it allows you to drop your pedal height to be about an inch below the height of the axle, which significantly changes how this wheel rides as compared to the Patton. But overall, given the half-hearted attempt that Extreme Bowl gave it, the Commander Mini gets a 2 out of 5 for convenience. Now, despite the fact that the Commander Mini is dimensionally extremely close to the Veteran Patton, but because of the difference in pedal height, they do in fact ride very differently. On the Patton, the taller pedal height means you're standing on the axle versus the Mini, where your foot is about an inch below the axle. This also means that the battery casing feels a little bit taller between your knees because your foot is a little bit lower. There are pluses and minuses to each approach. For instance, the Patton is a little bit more agile, while the lower pedal height on the Commander Mini gives it additional stability at higher speed. The taller pedal on the Patton also gives you more clearances. Combined with its greater agility makes it better for off-road riding. Conversely, the improved high-speed stability makes the Commander Mini a better road wheel. In theory, that is. Because the early firmware on this Batch 1 wheel can't match the Patton when it comes to torque responses and output. Despite supposedly having a more powerful motor at a higher voltage, there is this sense of immediacy you get from the Patton that is currently missing from the Mini. Now, Begode is still in the process of tuning the firmware, and it is possible that they will in time push the acceleration curve steeper to match that of the Patton. One thing they did get right is frame rigidity. The Commander Mini feels like it's milled out of a solid chunk of aluminum, and I sense zero flex even during hard hits at high speed, which inspire confidence. That combined with its classic Begode ride feel earns the Commander Mini a 4 out of 5 for ride quality. Now if you're a die-hard Begode fan, then performance is probably your main concern. But you have to remember that this wheel is Extreme Bolt and not Begode, who, matter of fact, have their own version of the 16-inch suspension wheel, soon to be released, the Extreme, and I wonder whether or not they would still be willing to share the best of their engineering and firmware update when the success of one of their own product is now on the line. I cannot answer that question, but I can tell you that the Commander Mini, at least in its present form, doesn't quite deliver on its 134-volt Begode pedigree. It doesn't have that sense of effortless torque and speed that both the EX30 and the Master exhibit, nor does it have the snappiness and agility you would expect from the latest gen performance 16-inch wheel, likely due to its weight and geometry. From a ride power perspective, I would slide it about halfway between an InMotion V12 and the Patton, and as much as it rides like a Begode wheel, it doesn't quite perform like one. It is by no means slow. No, it is mind-blowingly fast by all accounts if it weren't for a fact that electric unicycle have come so very far in such a little time. The Veteran Patton is noticeably more powerful, torquier, and feels lighter, and yes, there is a chance where further firmware update may pull more power out of this wheel, but as it is, the Commander Mini gets a 3.5 out of 5 for performance. Finally, we have value, and I have to start with the caveat that Begode unfortunately had over the year developed a reputation for not exactly having the most predictable of build qualities, and they're generally not recommended for beginner rider who have little to no experience when it comes to the care and maintenance of electric unicycle. But with that said, the Commander Mini is about as good as you would get when it comes to build quality, design, and fit and finishes for a Begode made wheel. But then again, neither are you getting the full Begode performances either. And yes, it is a little bit cheaper as compared to the Veteran Patton, but you're also getting a little bit less performance as compared to that wheel. And finally, despite the fact that it is a suspension wheel, it's, I think, really designed for road use. Yes, it does have the torque and the cushion to tackle some light trail ride, but if your main focus is on off-road, they're probably better choice. Begode's own 16-inch T4, for instance, is a cheaper and a lighter choice. However, with the proliferation of discount online EUC dealer who offer no warranties, if you can buy a Commander Mini at a significant discount as compared to the Veteran Patton, it starts to look very attractive. And of course, given again Begode's reputation for build quality, you are assuming a significant risk, but still. So taking that into consideration, I'm going to split the difference and give the Commander Mini a 3.5 out of 5 for value. So is the Commander Mini the polished Begode wheel you have been waiting for? Or would you rather wait for the true herald of Begode 134-volt performance, the Extreme? Well, that is what the comment section below is for. And you know what? Once again, I ramble on too long and somehow managed to waste another 20 minutes of your life, but I hope you enjoyed it. Shout out to my supporter on Patreon. Please check out the link in the video description below if you enjoy and like to support my work. And as much as we all love electric unicycle, the only way for us to get better wheel is to grow as a community. So tell your friend, teach them how to ride, and get them hooked. Until the next video, thank you.